Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me once again. My name is Jeffrey Palmer, and I am coming to you with yet another episode of the Not So Premier League. And this week, I am joined by a very special guest, Mr. Nicholas Harris. Thank you so much for joining me, Nick. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Jeffrey. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting night. We have two of our top shooters, Mr. James Henninger, shooting out against Dustin Jensen. And these guys, I mean, it's okay. It's the OK Corral. They're gunning for the top slot. Tell me how these guys are shaping up in the league and what has been happening so far in the drama that we have in the Not So Premier League.
This couldn't be much more of an exciting match had we planned it out with a script writer from Hollywood. You've got two players in the top five. You've got the defending and holding three-time champion James Henninger, and then up-and-coming Dustin Jensen. Dustin, the business Jensen.
I love it.
And, they're both on some form. James had a bye in his first match, but has won 3 straight on the trot, and then finally got held back just a bit by Ken Rip, who's also been in great form.
Oh, Ken, we watched him last week, folks. What a match.
Oh, what a player, what a man, what a match. I mean, James and Ken went 4-4 and split the spoils.
Split it.
Dustin, meanwhile, has gone 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in his first 5 encounters so far this season. So they're both in great form, and I'm excited to see what we get tonight.
Now, tell me, go through Dustin's one more time. So he's had a couple of draws in there.
Yeah, so he's had a really tough run of players to run through.
Tough schedule.
He drew against Jake Portinga.
Okay.
Has been leading the league early doors, but he's
absolutely
top of the table right now. So a draw against Jake is really nice.
Okay.
He did lose to his fellow compatriot during the regular season in darts in another league we won't mention. David Lawrence.
Sure.
Beat him, and that's his only loss.
D-Law. Yeah.
And then he drew against his other well-known commodity, David Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
And then his 2 wins have come against really excellent competition. My teammate, Zach Koska, and then, of course, Jake Schreiber, who's won nearly everything there is to win in the upper.
Isn't that interesting? So a couple of draws against the fellows, but when the competition is ramped up, we've seen Jensen really perform. Perhaps too nice a man on the Aki, wanting to make things all nice and square, but when it's somebody we don't totally have a history with, he's blood and guts. He's ready to go, ready to battle it out.
Dare I say it, he's the business.
He's the business. Now, what about Henninger? Do we have a nickname for him, or are we still in the search? Last week we had no nickname for Schreiber, so we were working on it.
There's no search.
There's no
James Henninger, and his nickname is Skulls.
Skulls.
I've been going by Skulls since I ever met the guy. He's a big fan of the memorabilia, anything with a skull on it. He wants it on his dark flights.
Sure.
He may have a tattoo or 2. I know we're not showing the players because we're showing the boards.
You just imagine.
Man's man, and Skulls is the nickname.
I love it. I love it. All right, folks, stay with us. We're going to get right into the match. We can head down. The players have already diddled. We're going to get right into the action. Stay with us. All right, folks, we are ready to watch the match. Again, we have James Henninger versus Mr. Dustin Jensen, and these players are going to be looking to come out of the gate absolutely
97.
setting the tone. It's a 97 for Henninger. Great way to start things off.
Man, there's nothing better as a player than coming off and getting a big ton or something close to it in your first round. It's just ease any nerves you might have. Just got to feel good for James.
Oh, yeah. Dustin answers with a 60. He's, straight down the board. Looks like we're going to have some high-scoring turns.
60.
James, he's missing high, which is not a problem. So he may not like the 60, but it's good grouping, and that bodes well for the game the rest of the way out with those darts being above the treble like that.
Absolutely. And look at that beautiful first dart from Dustin Jensen. High in the bed, slaps right into it for the second triple. And,
40.
I mean, he's happy with the ton 40, but that could have been a ton 80 all day. And his opponent acknowledges. Nice darts, sir.
They're both off the mark well here in leg 1 of this belter of match we're about to witness, I think.
100. Nice.
Tunsky pickup for Henninger there, and he is just cruising. Again, anybody's leg, jockeying for position. 301 plays 244 in the first game of this match.
And Dustin is going to want to pick something off here. James has got his nose out
60.
front. didn't quite get what he wanted there. They're levels, but I mean, right now, if you're Dustin and James started, you really wanted to take advantage of that 60 and weren't able to.
100.
Looking great. All right, already on a finish. Henninger on the 144, and Dustin gonna even looking to be put pressure on this, and what can he come up with through this first game here? Looks like a little bit of a slip there into the 5. First slip of the match, and hard to believe. This is the Not So Premier League, folks. I'll remind you. We're not watching Phil Taylor versus James Wade here, but a bunch of good scores to start. Now, Henninger, the adrenaline perhaps getting to him a little bit,
60.
pulls it low, but comes away with 60 and an 84, looking like an easy path to the first leg.
Up with a 2-darter potentially when he comes back up. Although, what's going on here?
Dustin having something to say about it. That is a 180. Leaves himself on double 8 for the break. Henninger, under all kinds of pressure, has to go for the bullseye. Has the shot at it.
And Dustin's third 180 of this young season has set him up absolutely perfectly.
Just the 43. The pressure was applied all day long. Dustin looking to close out that double 8 and start with a break. Let's see how he does. Second dart
Nice
catch.
shot. Good game.
Catches out.
You got to feel for James. He probably thought he had that leg, but that 180 just flipped the match, or the leg rather, on its head.
Exactly. 3 scores floating right around that ton mark. 2 tons and a 97. James must be thinking, okay, I am in a match here.
Yeah, he knows he's in a dogfight now. If he didn't already, I'm sure.
Absolutely. He said, hey, I just came to have a little bit of fun. Dustin, calms it down, spews one right into the 5, but corrects just straight away with a pair of 57s. And the 119, again, acknowledged by his opponent. Nice starts.
What a couple of picks. Dustin is a southpaw. I know we don't see the players, so that first dart of his coming
45.
inside to the right edge of that 19 bed was perfect for him to come and follow it up with the second one in there.
So good at just slapping them right together. His angle's good. Of course, he's not happy with this, but again, he's very close. Hey.
Yeah, I'd say he's not happy with that.
She's 17, folks. Stay away. No, it's that's not what he wanted to see on the second turn. Perhaps the adrenaline, gets to all of us. Henninger follows it up with a
85.
triple, comes in with the 85. He'd love that to be a ton to punish it to the hilt, but, get the triple, get the second leg rolling. He's still got a decent break chance.
Yeah, and James will be wondering what kind of match he's in right now. I mean, Dustin with a 17 darter to break him. James knows he can do better than a 17 darter break most matches. And now you see a 119 and a 17 from Dustin, so he's got to be wondering what's going on here.
Dustin's gone 119, 17, ton 40.
It's exactly. It's a little Jekyll and Hyde so far.
78.
It's still quality darts coming out of Dustin.
Absolutely,
He's really throwing some bangers.
Yeah, and I'd love to say, you'd say a mixed bag from Dustin, but not at all. I mean, this is the equivalent of somebody accidentally mixing it into 3 triple ones, and whoops, next turn it's a ton 80. It's no problem.
40.
He's able to follow it up with yet another ton 40, leaves himself on 85. Henninger coming into his throw with 293. I don't think there's any hope of breaking in this leg.
And Dustin right now, he's not just hitting
99.
tons. I mean, he's having multiple treble visits. He's, by my rough count, I think he's on his 4th 2-treble turn, and he's at the 180, so that's a 5th. So he's really pounding trebles right now so far.
Yeah, he has started with a blistering pace. I mean, whether he can go the distance or not, we're going to see it throughout the course of the night. Interesting, catches the triple 10 here, and looking to close it out.
45.
A little high.
High on that. Yeah, that's a good way to go. I mean, he probably was thinking to himself, hey, I'm right in that territory. I'm already set up. I got my feet set. It's just next door.
Sure.
Triple 10.
Sure.
And they just couldn't quite find the double to finish it out.
60.
And Henninger now just coming onto a high finish with this turn, but with Jensen on top, looks like this leg is going to go the way of the starting player. Comes just inside, looking at the double 10 to close out the second leg of the match here, and does so.
Yeah, so if you're Dustin, you're feeling great. You've thrown a 17-darter to break, and you've thrown a 17-darter to hold. And now if you're James, you're thinking, I need to stop letting this erratic.
I don't want to get routed.
Yeah, he's throwing 17s one round, and he's throwing buck 40s. I need to throw consistent darts. That's what I'd be thinking if I was James right now. And here he comes in. What has he got?
140.
Nice.
140?
Kicks off with a beautiful ton 40. You get yourself a nice out of Dustin, and I could say from experience that's about the most you're going to get out of Dustin. He's a very focused player. He's a great guy in real life, but when he's on the Oki, he doesn't like a lot of talk. He doesn't like to sit there and say, hey, great darts, how you doing? How's your mother? He likes to get it done, throw the tungsten, and go home.
Yeah, I like a bit of chatting myself, and I can verify what you're saying. Dustin's all business. That's why he's called the business.
57.
So 5-7 there for Henninger. Holding steady through this absolutely critical third leg. Wants to get on the board on his own throw.
Absolutely.
So we'll see as Dustin, decides not to switch there and perhaps unwisely only comes away with 59.
Yeah, that second dart, maybe ill-advised.
Real low.
He could see more of that than I think he could, but, with his dart being as low as it was, probably should have come down earlier, but he still gets 59.
135.
So that's something. And meanwhile, James really punished him, if I'm not seeing.
Absolutely. Ton 35. Yeah, punished to the hilt. So now James, leaves himself on a bogey. He didn't mean to slip into the fives there, but a lot of time to correct this, get on the board. Starting to breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
in this
He'll
third
feel good
leg.
about that. He stayed clean in the wedges his first 3 turns, and he's gotten 2 treble visits with the 140 and the 135.
Mm-hmm.
He set himself up beautifully. Let's see what he can come up with here.
93.
39.
So 93.
Okay.
So
Right.
he's in a 76 in prime position with a lovely 2-darter to close out this third leg.
Yeah,
Jensen
and if you're Dustin here, all you can do is put a little pressure on if that's possible.
tries to get something going, but I think Dustin's already thinking about the next leg.
What a third dart. Again, I'll have to say, with the one being low, I would have probably moved, but he just sticks to his guns and pegs that.
He's such a straight shooter, Dustin. He's able to kind of find his way through lots of sticky situations when other players would slide around and go for something else.
You've got to have that belief.
So-
That's why he is who he is. Oh, and then we have the
52.
outshot there from James.
Yeah.
This isn't
Great
quite it.
chance on the double 12 to close out the third leg, but and somebody's cat absolutely losing their mind. Folks, I wish I could tell you we could do something about that, but somebody's cat is meowing. This is again the Not So Premier League, and we we got to do what we got to do.
I can verify it's a dog household for the business, so I'm guessing that's one of the cats you see often in Facebook posts for James Henninger.
It must be. The cat has gone and play has resumed. That was an epic round of meowing. Okay, so just inside on the double 12.
James is going to be having heartbreak over these double 12s.
Oh, James.
Oh, what a pile of mess. Yep. So that was a miss there, and Dustin with an unexpected chance to capitalize on 84. What is he gonna do? Oh, he is in the business.
Perfect.
Catches the triple on the first start.
Brilliant.
Look out,
That'll
folks.
give him all kinds of confidence.
24 to close out the third leg and go 3-0 into the lead, and he does it. And you know what? As they say, sometimes it had to be. It almost had to be. Once you catch that beautiful big triple, you just feel like you're sitting on top of the world.
Having said that, and I completely agree, I'm gutted for James right now because he had such a lead in that leg and earned it.
He did.
Big scores.
You too.
And just let that one slip away by virtue of missing doubles.
Whew.
And Dustin, to his credit, came back strongly and had 2 tons and then the 84 finish. to snake that. So he's got the 3-0 lead, and James is staring his first defeat of the season straight in the face. And I'm curious to see what he comes up with.
So Jensen starts off with an 85. He's happy to start that way. He's going to look to try to capitalize again with our point system. 4 leg wins gets you a point. 5 nets you 2 points and leaves your opponent stranded on nothing. So it's a 91 there for James. Good strong start for both players, but this again absolutely critical. Does not want to get whitewashed here.
Yeah, and you notice James switching to the 17 as a righty. What he's doing there, I would assume, is avoiding having to shift his feet to the left.
Yeah.
And then coming across his body on the 19s otherwise. So it's a smart move if you don't want to have to move and want to keep your rhythm. So great evidence there by James's 91.
Absolutely. Thinking clearly. Love to get that nice odd pickup after your first two shots go in the 20. Just kind of square things off and continue down the scoring phase.
100.
Keeps it all clean with a ton.
There you go. You know, he's getting a triple around here. He's got the 91 to start. He's got the ton to follow up with. So he's finding some rhythm. He found rhythm in the last leg.
Absolutely. And I can tell you from experience, a lesser player would just throw in the towel in the face of, the business. Forget that. Call it the hurricane. He is coming at you with everything he's got. And Henninger just saying, I'm going to play my darts. One of the rare games where you can just sit there and do your own thing. And if you really can get out of your own head and focus on the board and your darts, you can come back in a situation like this.
81.
Yeah, and James is the one to do it too, because like we said in the opener, he's a 3-time state champ, and he's the current holder of the state championship in the state of Minnesota. He's a heck of a player. Goes to the Vegas PDC Challengers qualifiers and does well and beats big players. He's nothing to sneeze at. And so he's got the mental fortitude, and he's going to show it to us tonight, I'm sure.
Fantastic.
In the face of a 3-0 deficit, I'm confident.
All right, so starting down the board is Henninger, picks up the 19. Looks like he's accidentally slipped into the 1 there, though, and has a bit of a bag of spanners, so not where you want to be as you're coming down on this, again, absolutely critical.
That. I set him up, and then he
commentator's curse. Yeah, that's one of those where it goes from bad to worse. You try and you say, okay, bad first start, I can pick things up, then it slips into the 1, then it slips into the 7. And you just end the turn going, boy, I should have just thrown at those 20s. Wouldn't that have been great?
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Amen.
All right, so 151, pressure applied. Dustin Jensen on a 3-dart outshot to take away a point here, but Henninger, it's not over, folks. He can get into the
58.
game. 58, a decent score, 144, a player's favorite outshot, 2 triple 20s, and the double 12 takes it. Of course, that's how a couple of 9-darters in there if you can pick up one of the triple 19s. So not in terrible shape. Anybody's leg.
James is a slightly easier out from here, assuming both can hit big triples.
But of course,
Dustin's going to have to switch, obviously.
Dustin
doesn't quite hit it. But, so James will have, a chance to go 2 at the same treble. He can pick whichever one he wants, obviously. He'll probably go with the 20s, I would assume.
Now, Dustin with a bit of an interesting choice here. Of course, he can hit the triple 20 all day. He's like to let us know that, but he's left himself on double 7, and I really question that decision.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not a great set. Not a great set.
No, exactly. And here he's trying to split. He's missed the 6, which is just absolute disaster. Trying to get that double 2 now. Of course, all the doubles are the same size, folks. But let me tell you, there it is.
I have to suggest to you that if I were in his shoes, I would have shot the 6-10 wire. So the 10 leaves double 2, not the worst thing. Can leave you on double 1. That's true. But if you're just trying to keep the target big, it's not a disaster. Meanwhile, while I was talking, James had a great crack at double 16.
Yeah, James snaps off the 2 big numbers he needs to leave himself on player favorite 32, and can't quite get there. So Dustin, now he's got the 6. Now he's looking at a more favorable outshot on the double 4. But again, he comes inside. He's just left himself in the weeds here
12.
After leaving himself that double 7. It was not the shot.
I've seen Dustin throw a lot
First start.
as James pegs the dart, looks like. But I've seen Dustin throw a lot, and those last 3 that he threw felt rushed to me.
Yeah, very
He seemed old-fashioned.
tentative.
Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he was thinking about it. I mean, he almost on instinct went back up to that triple and that huge scoring setup turn. And I think he came away with that 14 and just went, whoops, that wasn't what I was going for. And boy, it really cost him. And now Henninger starts with a 96. Looking to press his advantage. Get back into this thing.
And could it be the bright lights in the big moment? Granted, we all know Dustin's one of the co-founders of this not so Premier League, so he knows all about what we're doing here. But sometimes the moment is the moment. Doesn't matter who.
The moment is the moment. Well said. Absolutely. And Dustin only kicks off 45, perhaps even still a little rattled. It's not always easy to shake off a little bit of a mistake
61.
there.
Yeah.
When you feel like you should have had all the time in the world to get it done, and you just can't get there.
Yeah, and not only that, he was in a commanding 3-0 lead. He's still in a big position here at 3-1.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
he'd won on a 17, and an 18 darter, and then he gets broken in a 22 dart break of throw from James.
Correct.
Which, no disrespect to James, but
No.
Dustin will have that in his mind.
Yeah.
I could win that way.
He'll be thinking about it. It's a little bit of kryptonite has slipped into Superman's, armor, and just feeling like maybe he's going to have to play this one out. So it's a 47. It's getting a little ropey back and forth, but Jensen back on 359, 297 for Henninger, and we'll see how these players get through this critical leg. We're getting into the meat of it, and we're starting to see some nerves, Nick.
Yeah, and one thing I was just going to say related to that is I noticed the last 3 darts from James, they were all in at different angles, which is not, as a player, what you want.
Yep.
It's something that viewers at home can maybe pay attention to. When you see them all going in at the same angle, same consistency, that's what you want.
41.
Those were
In the
pretty good right
weirdest
there.
way
Obviously, he
possible.
missed some wedges, and the score's not what he wanted, but the angles were
Yeah.
okay.
The angles were okay. Perhaps just a stance. Yeah, perhaps just a slight aiming issue. But Henninger sort of trying to right the ship here.
57.
Yeah, Dustin running around the board comes away with only 57. The triples have dried up for both players.
Those were all middle of the bed. Those were all solid throws. He controlled his misses, as we sometimes say. He missed high in the big wedges that go like this, and he missed low in the wedges that go like this.
Absolutely.
Smart darts by Dustin, so he's playing the board and doing so very effectively.
Yep. So it looks like he catches the triple. Let's try to get back on. Players trade tons, and it's 156 plays 161. Looking like it's going to be an interesting fifth leg here. And again, Dustin looking to catch that first point, but Henninger, wanting to get back in the match and keep things going. So only 60 from Henninger. Of course, he leaves a 2-darter, but you have to catch a big triple in there, and Dustin could have a decent setup turn. Let's see what kind of pressure he can put on.
He'll want a 2-treble visit here.
Oh,
for
he's
sure.
he's
He
gonna.
knows that James is on a 1-treble, 1-double finish.
Yep.
And he's not going to get it, obviously, with the first 2 in the singles.
No, and
39,
opts for the
he went
bull there. Yeah.
That's a smart move. It gets him on a treble double finish if he hit it. He missed it, so he didn't. But now James is he
Okay,
in?
I believe he's in. Looking like he's going for that double 8. Comes just inside. Catches the 88, leaves himself on double 4. So maximum pressure applied here. Jensen starts on the 19, 10 left to close it out. Needs this triple 20.
This would secure a point minimum.
Has it?
By virtue.
Does he have the tops?
Oh, he set himself. You could tell that. So that's a great example of that delay I was talking about. I was expecting to see earlier, didn't see. He took his time and just narrowly missed it, and now.
First start.
I'm not sure I can see.
And it's a first start from James Henninger.
Wow.
Absolutely clinical. Doesn't even blink on the 99 chance there from Jensen, and closes to within 1 leg of tying this match up. It's Jensen's throw. Yeah, absolutely. Wanted to get it done in 1. You don't want to go messing around on the 8s. Come down to the 2s. Come down to the 1s. Anything can happen. Things can get real ropey. And it looks like he's... it's a 1-3-4 here from Jensen to start things off.
Just a quick commentary on James right now. This is a guy who hasn't lost until tonight. Actually, he hasn't lost yet. He tied against Ken. My point was he has not won yet.
Yeah.
And so he got held to a draw against Ken earlier tonight, and now, he will not want to see the leg tally for Dustin go up to 4.
Right. Well, so you're saying this will be if he does go on to lose from here, it will be the first point he's given up. Even is that correct?
My point was he just earlier tonight against Ken saw a match go 4-4.
Oh, so he has given it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's never not won until tonight, and he's going to have that in his mind. Like, I don't want that to happen again. So he's looking at that leg tally, and he's clawing for his life right now to try to get the 3-3 and tie this thing up and then go on and win 5-3. I guarantee you that's where his head is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's thinking, okay, I'm in this. I can get things back.
58.
All right. So Dustin with a bit of a lead, though, again here, coming through this.
Dustin is just, well, I've been rattling on, and he's been smashing in trouble.
Yeah.
He's got
And
1-3
Dustin playing a little quicker even than I've seen him lately.
1-2-5.
Just absolutely pressing every advantage he can come through and find here. And
Good response by James, though, with that 1-2-5.
yeah, after a little bit of a walkabout in the last leg where both players were kind of hitting some low scores, absolutely both players responding incredibly well. Jensen on 88. Let's see what Henninger can do to try and get down to a finish even. Needs a ton plus to even have a shot here. And he slips into the 5. Not what he wanted to see. Oof. Looking like almost
James, come on. 45.
Dustin has been pummeling the treble in this leg right when he needed to. He had 2 kind of dodgy legs where he let James get away with 20-plus darters to take legs. And he's just not having any more of that in this leg anyway.
Of course, as soon as you say it, slips into the 5, 83 left. No worries. Catches the 17, recovers. I'm sure he'll recover well. It does pulls out the abacus to do a little bit of math here, as we sometimes do. And
yeah,
I
so
think
22 scored. He's on 66. He should be either at the triple 14 or maybe the treble 10.
yeah, could look at the
Possibly
triple
the double
10.
both. He's feeling a little saucy. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'd probably myself, I'd go treble 14.
I'm a triple 10 man, but he goes for the triple 14.
Triple 14. So he was trying to leave the double 12 and just dropped it low.
Comes away with 33, leaves himself on 55. A very simple out. Henninger has to apply some kind of pressure. Catches the triple in the first start. He's looking good here, folks. But
1-3-7.
it's 1-3. It's 1-3-7.
That was almost the minimum he needed to put some pressure.
Exactly. But does Dustin have his sights on the man or the board? And I think it's going to be the board. He catches the fat 15, looks at tops to close into a point, and really, really take control. Beautiful marker, straight on the wire, slaps into it, and clips in that 55 third dart. I would say you could look up clinical in the dictionary and you would come away with a picture of that outshot. It was beautiful.
Whatever nerves he may have had in prior legs where he was, letting James get away with 22 darters,
gone
on that visit. Gone on that visit. That was brilliant.
They're done. And what you love to see about players of these both of their quality is they've had little slips here and there, in and out. I mean, look at this.
180.
Comes away with the 180. This is something that normal players just don't do. I mean, you get inside your own head, you start doubting yourself. These players are going to town on every leg. Is a new chance
60.
to pull it back.
And James, like I was just saying a moment ago, he saw the wind disappear in that prior leg as Dustin locked in with his fourth victory tonight so far. And then James just miles in a 180 to start. And that's just
I hit the first one, and then the second one glanced off to the left.
Determination. He's like, okay, the wind's gone, but I'm coming at you.
85's a good get after 180.
Brilliant from James.
Yeah. Little commentary there from the players there. Absolutely. So kicks off with the 180, follows it up with the 95. Disappointed just to clip even to the other side on the fives there. But that tells you they're both feeling it 100%.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that's James's second 180 of the season.
60.
And I'm pretty sure of that. At least his second, because I know he hit one against me.
Yeah. Well, all right, Nick. You know, no better source than to have one hit right against you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it hasn't faded from the memory banks
85.
yet. So,
Yep. So 85 here. Henninger, after 12 darts thrown, I believe, maybe even 9, he's got himself a 141. And
57.
so it's a 57 for Jensen. He has not hit a triple in this leg. I think the excitement, it would get to anyone. I don't care who you are. He's just kind of cruising through this one. He knows he has a buffer leg
40.
to avoid the tie. So James only with a 40 there.
Yeah, but I think Dustin's buffer leg is about to go away. So
yeah, Dustin's buffer leg is about to go away. I agree with you, but he has it right now. So I feel like he may be mentally regrouping in this one. Yeah, so it's just a 40.
James did have that wobble earlier on double 12 in one of the earlier rounds.
Yep.
Where he could have taken that leg and probably should have, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Barring another performance similar to that, with the 173-point lead.
69.
Interesting, yeah.
Well,
slips over there and catches the triple 10. Just, set up from the gods. Leaves himself on 32 off of 101.
perfect.
So Dustin just saying, "Okay, buddy, get it done." on to the next one.
At this point, if you're Dustin, you're thinking, "Please, just don't drag this out and make me have to sit here and throw tons or 60s or whatever I'm going to throw."
100.
I want to save all that good stuff for the next round. So
comes inside, trying to get it done. Now, hopefully, he doesn't try a little too hard. Sometimes that can happen.
Third dart.
Apologies, our camera's covering up that double 4, but he did get it, and the 32 goes the way of the dodo.
That third dart somewhere around your neck, I'm guessing.
That must be got
Good
me
to see
right
one
there.
line inside the water.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so players are. This is the absolute critical leg. Dustin Jensen looking for the win, and our man James Henninger looking to catch the tie. Now, which way it's going to go at this point with the quality of these players, Dustin kicking off with the 5, I couldn't tell you. Follows the 5 up with a 9.
James has yet to lose this season. And Dustin, to his credit, has only lost one time. So this could go either way at this point.
Absolutely. And Dustin just, you were hoping he was going to kind of recoil from his little bit of wobble or recover from his wobble in the last game, but only kicks off 34, and Henninger's got
100.
a triple. It's 100. So, hey, Henninger on the charge. Anybody's leg here in this final leg.
The angle of those darts was exactly what I would want to see.
Beautiful. That's
exactly
grip, that's release, that's consistency, folks. Yeah. And that is the name of the game.
96.
All right.
Nice shot.
Jensen getting into the leg. 96. Again, we have Henninger saying, "Nice shot." No response from Dustin. He is in the zone. I can tell you what's going through his head right now is, I want to win this 5-3.
85.
How James got that third dart over the top of that wall he had built between the 5
no
and the
clue.
20, I will never be able to tell you, but the 85 is like a nugget of gold to get that triple.
Absolutely. Right, and Jensen again slipping into the 5. You know how badly he wants this, and he gets the triple. His ability to recover after a bit of a wobble is just beautiful. So low on the first dart for Henninger, low on the second dart. What did he have with dart number 3?
60.
It's only a 60. Clips into the 777.
Yeah, it's a 777. So you got the funky 60.
The funky 60, as we say. I love it. Okay, folks, right in the meat of the leg here. 256 plays 286. Anybody's leg. Jensen slipping just a little bit low. Let's see what he's got. Does he have a recovery here?
60 also.
Only a 60.
Nice group there. Working man.
A beautiful group, but you write your grandma home and you say, "I had a nice group, but I only came away with a 60. She's not going to give you lunch money for the next day. It's just not going to happen.
Beauty.
Interrupt
you there.
No, please.
He was something special there.
Oh.
I will do him nicely. It sets him on a it's not quite a finish, but
it gets you close.
Position.
But Dustin looking to make it happen, and here is the beautiful first and second, and is it going to be third dart? It's a ton 40,
nice.
And if you could pick a time to hit a ton 40, it's hard to pick a better time than the setup here.
Darts were those. Those were just.
Oh, and look at this setup from James right back. Unbelievable.
Are you kidding me?
114, 131.
131, just what he wanted with Henninger. Okay, let's focus up here. Henninger sitting on the tops to close out the tie. Dustin Jensen on the 86. He's got the 18. What has he got to follow it up? It's the big 18. That's a shot at the bull, folks. Does he have it? Bullseye. Dustin winding it up. We're both so excited.
Oh my God.
Oh, does he have it? Come on, Dustin. Center of the board. poke its eye out. It's the little red dot in the center of the board. You can't miss
It's
it.
in there, James.
And he's got it!
Oh,
Woo!
Oh my goodness. Good
It's
match,
a heartbreaker.
That is it, right? Is that it? That is it. Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta feel for Joe. James is
Holy moly. I was
oh my.
I was a bag of nerves on that dart at the bullseye.
James is the players
good shot. Way to finish.
exchanging some stuff. There goes Dustin wandering back in. I'm gonna back it up just a tad to that. Let's watch that again in I wish I could say slow motion.
Slow-mo?
No, we don't have slow motion. We just watch it go in here and then wrap up the match. Dustin, I mean, can you imagine what's going through his mind?
Well,
This
he
is
did
to
the right
close
thing
at
right here.
5-3.
So he's on 68 and then pegs this. But the thing with that first dart in the single 18,
Whew.
so many players at lower levels in the beginning of their careers will read those little cards and go trip 20.
Trip 20
It's
or
the wrong
make a
dart
mistake.
because-
No.
Yeah, you've got to leave yourself that chance at the double bull, and that's exactly what Dustin did, and that gives him the victory.
And it's a beauty
You don't
of
think
a bullseye.
That's got double 20.
Yeah, exactly. And look at the angle. Again, you were talking about the consistency of these players. I mean, you could get out your protractor here, go back to, geometry or whatever, what have you. I mean, he has got to be within a couple of degrees, couple of radians, what have you, of an absolutely pristine angle on not just his first two darts in the Fat 18, but his bullseye shot as well.
Yeah,
And what that said, tell us about it, Nick.
What that's telling you, and granted, I'm throwing it right-hander, but so I'm thinking about this already. But what he's doing then is he's got consistent on his pullback. His rhythm is perfect, and his release point is the same every time. And it doesn't matter what he's looking at on the board.
Exactly.
He's put in the time. He's put in the practice, and in a pressure moment, he's delivering darts of that quality in a moment of that importance.
Yeah.
In tonight's meetings.
I
to
mean,
earn himself the victory and get the full 2 points.
To be able to have a release like that where it looks so beautiful. Yeah, and just like you were saying, that release point is absolutely pristine on all three darts. I mean, the aim, you can sit there, you can learn all these different things, but when you really get to that next level, it's when your darts start looking the exact same no matter where you're shooting on the board. And like you said, Dustin, a left-hander, and he's able to pop the little red bit right out of the center of the board with a beautiful shot, close out the 86, win the match 5-3, and folks, that's going to net him 2 points in the Minnesota Not-So Premier League, and well earned.
As great as that is for Dustin as he pulls himself even further up the table, it's a chance missed for James.
Absolutely.
Will be kicking himself.
Yeah.
Had he been able to at least get a tie or possibly even a win, if he could have pulled it out of the fire a little earlier, he would have been in the running for tying for maybe first or second place. I'd have to look at the table after the match is over. So, he'll be sitting somewhere in third, fourth, fifth. He's still very strongly placed. But a chance missed for James, and tonight he'll probably think to himself, I'm going to hit the practice boards, and I really don't want to have to face him next week. Thank God I already got, pummeled by him 2 weeks ago.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
He's going to come back with a vengeance next week. I can guarantee you that.
That's one of those where you're sitting here. I mean, we're sitting here with the advantage of all the scores up. We can say, Henninger, my beautiful scoring. Tons of, close, a couple of 180, at least one 180, if not two. Jensen hammering in the 180s. It was a well shot match by both players, but Henninger is going to feel like it was all for naught. I gained nothing from this. And yeah, I think you're right. If he didn't go back on the board the second the camera was off, it was a couple minutes later, because you just feel like, oh my God, I need to get on the board.
I know Skulls, and Skulls is a heck of a competitor and a quality player and a gentleman to boot, and he's going to hit the board hard.
Yeah.
He didn't play badly by any stretch.
No.
I mean, he threw a second buck 80 of the season tonight, and he had, I think, 5 trips to the board where he came away with 2 trebles scoring rounds, and then had 9 trips to the board with single treble scoring rounds. So he had a strong night with 15 big maxis, and then but Dustin tonight had 19. And had a 180 of his own.
Just
and
wasn't playing around.
With 2 treble visits, especially early on. I mean, Dustin was a beast.
Put him on the back foot almost from dart 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
So Dustin really was a front runner tonight, and then just hung on, and then just edged over the line to get the win.
Yeah, we love to see it.
Yeah,
We love to see it. All right,
Sets us
Nick.
up well for next week.
Absolutely. Now, Nick, tell us how many sessions do we have left to close out this first season of the Not So Premier
So
League?
it's an 8-week season for the
2
regular
months.
season before
Yep.
we get into the playoffs. The regular season sort of split in two. The first section we all rotate through, playing each other once, and then based on that, we'll take the top 6 players, and they go into what we call the deep end.
Oh, yeah.
And then the bottom 5 players go into the
Love
shallow
that.
end. Yeah, and it's a little metaphor for you.
Sure.
And so then the top 6 will play each other in weeks 6, 7, and 8, and then the bottom 5 will play each other as well in 6, 7, and 8. And then based on how they all finish up against more level competition, we'll have the final standings for places 1 through 11, and that'll make the seeds for the big playoffs.
Fantastic.
Championship.
There you go. All right, Nick. Well, I just want to thank you personally so much for joining me for yet another episode of the Not So Premier League. Again, my name is Jeffrey Palmer, and I want you all to search us out, follow us. Again, search Not So Premier League on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. Leave us a comment on YouTube and tell us what you think we're doing right and what you think we're doing wrong. We're here for you. We want to make this the most entertaining darts broadcast, especially while we're all apart. We're getting on our webcams. We're playing darts. It's 100% honest, because how are you going to cheat at darts? What are you going to do? Step a couple feet closer? You're going to throw it right out of the board. It's not going to work. This is the sport that you want to be watching, folks, and we are excited to bring it to you. And I want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week for yet another episode of the Not So Premier League. Thanks again.